Okay, so what we want to talk about is whether or not we can use GetResponse in order to help us build our business. And that's really the question here that is on the table. And when you start talking about an information age business or a business that is based on the digital age, what's the key to that business? What's the key of being able to generate more profit in the information age? It's basically being able to leverage technology. Can we leverage technology? Can we use it in a way that helps us to be able to do more than we could do as one person, right? So basically, can we produce more, and then can we produce more in less time? That's really how we gain leverage in using information technology. For example, if we had to publish a book years ago, we would have had to sit down and write. We would have had to find an editor. That editor we would have to travel to see that editor. That editor would have read our manuscript and then send it back to us. We've now eliminated all that with digital technology, and so we've been able to not only to speed up the timetable, we can actually reach probably 2 to 3 more times more editors with the very same manuscript than we were before. So in other words, digital technology always gives us leverage over our time and gives us leverage over productivity. The other thing that we're looking to do in the information age is we're being asked to, and we're being expected to, leverage profit in multiple streams simultaneously. So in other words, we need to be able to set something in motion that's going to create income for us, whether or not it's us or for our company, and then to be able to set something else in motion parallel to it and actually have them both earning at the same time so that we don't have to be there to earn every dollar. And so that is really the leverage that the information age provides individuals. It also provides leverage to companies who can do it successfully. And we want to be able to do that by taking buyers through an education process. Buyers expect that now. So no longer do people want to be sold on a process. They want to sell themselves based on the information that they get, based on being able to make a decision, an informed decision. People like to feel like they're informed, and so we need to, and we want to, and we can now take buyers through an education process. Once again, when we're doing it leverage, we don't have to be there. Right? So we don't have to talk to them physically, or we don't have to be there at the very same time. It definitely helps. It's called coaching when we do that, but we don't have to be there in order to coach someone and help them get through an educational process. And what we're trying to do as information marketers, whether or not you market specifically information or you're using information to market a physical product or information to market your service, you and I are working to keep buyers engaged. Whether or not they've become a buyer yet, maybe they're a prospect. We want to keep them engaged until they make a purchase. That's the key in the information age. We have the opportunity to take them through an education process, to give them what they need to make a decision, and then we keep them engaged. We keep them reading. We keep them focused and thinking about the things that we want to keep them focused on until they actually make a purchase. And we're doing that by giving them all the information they want. So we don't want to hold anything from them. We want to make sure that they can find what they need at any time. We want to make sure that when they go looking for information about something, we want to be the ones to provide them with that information. So we're giving them all the information they want. The key there is that they want. We don't give them more than they want. We give them everything that they want. And what we're trying to do with it is we're basically trying to help them make a decision they already want to make. Right? That's the key to copywriting in the information age. In other words, we're not trying to sell anybody anything. We're just trying to uncover value. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to help that individual make a decision that they really already want to make. That's really why, if you've ever taken the time to really think about it, why long copy still works. That's why copywriting still works. That's why sales letters still work. Basically, sales letters are tending to be very long and getting longer, even in the digital age, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to give a person enough evidence for them to convince themselves. Right? And so we give them all the information they need, and we move them through the education process, whether or not the education process is a webinar, whether or not it is a sales letter, or a sales video. We're trying to move them to a point where they make a decision that they already really do want to make. They just need some help convincing themselves. Now, so what's the problem with this, right? So what's the problem with this? Well, one of the problems is the market is evolving. So people definitely do want the information, but they want it to be super relevant. They don't want general information. We're all that way. We don't have time for really general information. That's really why when we go searching on a search engine, maybe it's Google or Yahoo or whatever the case is, we're looking for something, we're looking for the exact information that we want. And we keep looking until we find it. And we keep looking through and looking past and looking beyond any entries that are irrelevant to what we're actually looking for. So as the market evolves, in the digital age, we want more and more relevant information. And as a matter of fact, when we just get information, what do we call that? We call that information overload, right? We don't like information overload. We like to the point. We like relevant information on the dot when we need it. We expect that information to be convenient to find. We don't want to have to dig too deep. We like the fact that we can use search engines, but we're really starting not to like going through page 2. In fact, there's a study that says that most people don't even go beyond page 2. So in other words, if they're doing a Google search and they see the first 10 results, they don't find what they're looking for. They see the second result, they don't see what they're looking for. They're either going to search again or they're going to walk away from the search. Right? So people are expecting information to be convenient. They don't want to wade through reams of information. Well, there are no more reams. I'm thinking about reams of paper. People are looking for volumes and gigabytes of information. People don't want to go through that in order to get what they want. And so people, consumers, people who are buying, business customers, reward companies that can deliver that information before it's needed. So that's one of the problems with this present age, that we're competing now basically against people in our market or niche, regardless of what that niche is, who can deliver the right information even before it's needed, right? So again, making the distinction between information overload and relevant information. We assume the information is relevant, but we're trying to get that information to people before they actually need it, or even before they know they need it. And people, when they're able to do that, they trust companies that can do that. Right? They trust companies. We trust companies that can do that. Brands that are consistent in delivering the information they need when they actually need it, or even before they need it. They gravitate toward information that's more personal and social. And they're beginning to expect, right, even though we're buying more on sites like Amazon, even though we're buying more from big online sites, we expect some level of personal customization. We're expecting more and more of it. And in fact, we're willing to pay more for that, right? We're willing to pay a premium for it if we can get it customized and ready to be used. So what's the solution, right? So how do we solve this problem? Well, one of the ways we solve the problem are ESPs, or email service providers, like GetResponse. And you might want to ask, well, GetResponse like any of the others. What does it do? Does it do the same thing that others do? Well, any ESP or email service provider, now GetResponse has been around since 1997. They do broadcast emails and autoresponders, just like all of the rest. So it does do what others do. It does integrate with marketing platforms, both software as a service, as well as WordPress, as well as WordPress-based services. It does integrate into a number of those services, and integrates into even more of them with automated services like Zapier. And it has industry standard deliverability. So their deliverability isn't any worse than the other players that are larger or who've been around longer, right? So they have an industry standard. They're at the industry standard. Now, one of the things about GetResponse is that it's been recently, if you've looked at it, it's been redesigned. Yeah, it's been redesigned. The whole site's been redesigned in order to help you to be able to find the things that you need. So if you need to do landing pages, right? And of course, you can get landing pages with other online facilities, but they've made landing pages available. They've made webinars available, right? So you can actually do your webinar there and GetResponse. They've made responsive design a priority. So having the design, having it to be responsive is very important to some of these email service providers, in particular GetResponse. And most importantly, one of the things that they really made leaps and bounds of a progress in is marketing automation, right? Marketing automation. So let's talk about that redesign and marketing automation because they're really related. Marketing automation is being able to use email and messaging to provide a more personal experience in the buying process. So at the same time, when you're providing that personal experience, you as the business owner or you as the creator, you don't have to be there for every message is sent, right? That's really supposed to be the beauty of autoresponders. And GetResponse's new focus and their redesign is really all about that level of customization. They leverage technology to send messaging based on the actions of the recipient. So a recipient does something, they open an email, they click on a link. We want to then trigger certain kinds of messaging based on their activity. That's really the key to marketing automation. It helps marketers basically to use that software to create a system that gets smarter about the customers over time. And isn't that what we want, right? We want to be able to get smarter about our customers, but we also want our machines to get smarter also. And that's really what we're training when we put together an email marketing system and we put together marketing automation, what we're doing is we're training our system of messaging to get smarter about our customers. Now, what GetResponse also does, it makes these tools accessible to anyone. So anyone can really understand how to use them, even though what they do is incredibly complex. It is incredibly technical. Being able to do it and put it in place is not so. So here's what understanding how this works. What this means is that, a prospect can join your mailing list, for example. Let's say they decide that they're not going to click on a link for 2 days, right? Let's just say. And then on the third day, they click a certain link in your email. So what marketing automation does means that for that person, right, any of the other messages that they're sending, it stops, right? Everything stops for them in terms of your promotion to them. And it all happens in the background. You don't do it, it happens automatically. It means then that they're going to then start getting a second kind of messaging until they actually make a purchase or they decide not to make a purchase. So in other words, messaging starts on an automated basis on something totally different based on the fact that they clicked a link in your email. So basically, here's what marketing automation is. This is a classic example. Every time someone takes an action, what that person is doing is they are helping you customize your marketing system to them. So you set the system in place, you set it in motion, and every time they take an action, they open an email, they click a link, they visit a certain website, what they're doing is they are telling your system how to market to them. Now, here's how you learn how this works, because it's very much an important part of how we are going to be doing business in the information age. There's a very special course teaching how this process is going to work in GetResponse. And if you want to learn how to set up a system like this, this course will help you to be able to do that. You're going to learn how to make sure people are getting your initial message to set all of this in motion. And you're going to learn how to create a system that gets smarter over time, just like we've talked about. So you want to be able to get this course for a limited time that it's available. All you have to do is use the link or the button that you see on this page in order to get that course. And what you want to do is when you get that course, start using those tools inside of GetResponse in order to start marketing and to do it on an automated basis. So with that, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen in, and hopefully you will then grab this course, sit right down in front of your copy of GetResponse, and then start using marketing automation. Thank you very much, and have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.